Chatter. In this video, we will be talking about a 2024 election matchup between John Bolton and Donald Trump. So, John Bolton was this national security advisor under Donald Trump for a few years in his presidency, not all the way through because they soon got in an argument, and he was one of the many Trump administration members who left on very bad terms with President Trump. And John Bolton has basically announced that he is running for president in 2024. It's almost pretty certain at this point that he will. He hasn't gone out like Trump and given his official speech yet. However, it's pretty certain that he will run for president in the Republican nomination. He is one of the anti-Trump Republicans, as there are a lot in 2022 now, and I really don't think that his campaign will get very far in the primary. If we're looking at Iowa, if we're looking at New Hampshire, if we're looking at Nevada, he's not going to do well in any of the early states. He's not going to really do well anywhere. So John Bolton really doesn't have much of a chance of becoming president. I think he would more so run for kind of the how do I explain this? Kind of like the symbolic message of anti-Trump Republicans running in the Republican primary to show that Trump does not control the party. So say he does win somehow, say he gets the endorsement from Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, all these guys. And he faces off against Joe Biden in November. So I do think that John Bolton would be extremely weak electorally. He will... a lot of people will be afraid of him when it comes to foreign policy. You know, Biden is going to always talk about how Bolton starts wars for no reason, starts so much violence for no reason, gets us involved in countries, in wars that we don't need to get involved in. So I think that Bolton would be very weak, and then Joe Biden, not necessarily strong either. A lot of people will be very unhappy with their choices for president. So let's get into safe Democratic states, margins of 15% or more. Really, all the safe states from 2020, he would win by a safe margin once again. Sorry, not New Hampshire. New York, whoops. Oh my god, I'm clicking all the wrong states today. Oh my gosh. Again. Maine's first. Geez, 3 in a row. Illinois, and New Mexico and Colorado. I don't think that Bolton has any shot here. Bolton will do much, much worse than Trump did in 2020. For this, no independents are going to vote for John Bolton, and Biden will be able to run an extremely strong campaign against him. And Bolton, all he's done in his life is foreign policy. He doesn't have any experience in anything else than foreign policy. People care about domestic issues more than foreign policy. So John Bolton isn't going to win Democrats, no independents, and is going to lose a lot of Trump Republicans because of how staunchly anti-Trump he is. So he will have a hard time becoming president of the United States. I think that Virginia goes safe for Biden. I think that Maine at large goes safe for Biden. Major shifts towards the left. I think that this would be a massive blowout for Joe Biden. Minnesota wouldn't quite be safe, I guess, but let's get into some safe Republican states. Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska at large, and Nebraska's third would probably be safe. Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, West Virginia. That's going to be it. So these are all the safe states for John Bolton. That puts him at 81, puts Biden at 211. Would you look at that? Biden already has a massive lead over John Bolton. So now let's get into some likely states for Joe Biden. Margins of 5 to 15%. Definitely New Hampshire would be a state that would be close to being safe, at least relatively close to being safe. However, I don't think that John Bolton in the general would do that poorly in New Hampshire as some other states. I think that it's overwhelmingly white. overwhelmingly moderate to conservative. So Bolton would do better than other states, but he would still lose that election by a very wide margin. Let's see. Going to Michigan, definitely a likely state. Gretchen Whitmer won big here against someone that would probably be just as electorally bad as John Bolton. That was Tudor Dixon. So I think that this is a state that went to Biden by 3%, first of all, in 2020. So Biden would easily be able to shift it 2 points to the left. This will be an easy win for Biden. He wouldn't even need to campaign in Michigan. Minnesota, definitely very close to being safe. Probably a 14-point win for Biden win here. So I think that definitely Minnesota, of course, goes to Biden by likely. Pennsylvania almost went to John Fetterman by a likely margin in 2020. That is insane, as Dr. Oz was supposed to be someone who wasn't that bad electorally. We looked at all the other Trump-endorsed Senate candidates, Herschel Walker in Georgia, Blake Masters in Arizona, whoever, wherever. And we're looking at Dr. Oz. He wasn't supposed to be as bad as the others, but he turned out to be even worse than most of these candidates, and he somehow lost Pennsylvania by 5. So Bolton would be probably even weaker than Dr. Oz. And, voters are just as partisan on the presidential level as they are on the Senate level. So I do think that Biden would win Pennsylvania by a likely margin. And Biden almost has victory. He needs 11 more electoral votes to become president. Looking at Georgia, likely margin win for Biden. And that puts him over the top already. 275 to 81. I think that Biden wins Georgia by a likely margin. Democrats, Warnock won here this year, but Bolton would do so badly in the state of Georgia. I mean, just looking at it, like, what minority is he going to win? And that's the same for Florida, Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada. Same for the whole Sun Belt. What minority is John Bolton winning? DeSantis won by 5 in Florida, 20 in Florida this year, because he was able to turn out Cuban Americans in high numbers. John Bolton is not doing that. Okay, he's not getting anywhere close to doing that. So I think that Georgia goes to Biden by a likely margin, very close to being lean, definitely a 5-point win for Biden. I mean, Nevada could very well, but just to be safe, I won't do that yet. The 2nd district of Nebraska, likely for Biden, it was in 2020. That's probably it. So now let's get into some likely John Bolton states. There will be quite a few. Montana, Kansas, 2 states, and Nebraska's first. 2 states, 1 district that Trump won by a likely margin in 2020. I don't think that Bolton would do very well in any of these. Sorry, Montana went to Trump by safe. Missouri, likely, definitely. The Senate election here this year was likely. Indiana, likely, if not lean. That one actually could get kind of close. Let's see. He wouldn't do that bad in Alaska because it is more of a moderate Republican state. I think that he would do fine in Alaska. A likely margin win for him there. South Carolina, honestly, I'm not thinking it's going to get too close. I think that John Bolton wins by a likely margin, as it was for Trump in 2020. That's going to be it. So that puts Bolton at 125 electoral votes. Joe Biden already has victory with 276, 137. Electoral votes are left. So now let's get into some lean Democratic states. These are states that will be decided by 1 to 5%. Number 1, definitely Wisconsin. This one very well could be likely. Bolton will, you need those blue-collar workers, especially the white men, blue-collar workers, to win in the blue wall, in the Rust Belt. Bolton not winning them. Trump was able to win the presidency because he turned out these voters in the blue wall, because he gave them hope, because he said it's because of the immigrants, because he blamed someone. And we need to blame someone, always. That is why he won. John Bolton, totally focused on foreign policy. he will not connect with these voters in the Rust Belt at all. He would perform extremely poorly in the Rust Belt, and same goes for Iowa and Ohio when we get to those states. Going to the 2nd District of Maine, that's probably a 1-point win for Joe Biden in the 2nd District. This one, no Republican is going to do as well as Trump did here. These voters are very independent-minded. No Republican is going to do how well Trump did here in 2020 and 2016. He was the only Republican to turn out those voters. Obama won it by 8 points in 2012. Trump won it by 8 points in 2016. He shifted it 16 points to the right. That is insane to me. John Bolton won't be able to turn out those voters. Maine 2nd goes to Biden. In North Carolina, that's a lean win for Biden. It went to Trump by, I believe, just about 1%, maybe like 1.5%. John Bolton would do much worse than Donald Trump here. He would just such an awful candidate across the board. I'm thinking North Carolina goes to Biden lean. Going to Arizona, I think I'm going to leave it for now. But we will get back to it. Nevada, lean or likely, right on the verge. Catherine Cortez Masto won here. Senate election. Biden won here by 2.4. Hillary won here by 2.4. Bolton even weaker than Trump. And same what I was saying with minorities. There are a lot of Hispanic voters in Nevada, and Republicans to win here need to win those. That is what Adam Laxalt failed with this year, and that's why he lost. John Bolton would get nothing, none of their votes. Okay, he won't turn them out at all. So now, lean Republican states. Iowa, I'm thinking, goes to Bolton by a lean margin. Ohio's tough. I'm going to leave Ohio for now. But Trump shifted it so Republican that it would be hard to shift it back at this point. You know what else is tough is Texas, and we will get to that. All right, that's it. It's just Iowa. That's the only lean Republican states. So I think that we will have 4 tilt states, so decided by less than 1%, extremely close states. Ohio, which you never see. Florida, which in 2022 you never see. 2023, actually, wow. Texas, which you never see. And Arizona, which you always do see. So let's get into this. Ohio, tilt Bolton. This one is going to be a squeaker, but I think that Trump made so many new Republican voters that's the thing with Maine 2nd. Trump was able to win all these independent voters, and that's why he's the only Republican to do so. But in a lot of these states, Iowa and Ohio, he just made so many new registered Republicans. He got so many people to vote for Republicans down ballot that I think that there would be a lot of remaining Republicans to vote for Bolton. If Joe Biden was any stronger than he currently is electorally, I would give the state of Ohio to him against John Bolton. Florida is so tough. Florida is so tough. I'm thinking it goes to Biden. Bolton, Cuban Americans, he will win none of them at all. I'm not saying Biden will. As I said, a lot of people will be very frustrated with their 2 choices for president. Florida will be so tough. But at this point, I'm thinking Biden wins Florida by a tilt margin. But I don't know. That's going to be a really close one for me. Texas, I'm thinking it stays with Bolton by a very, very small margin. I know it's weird to see Texas red and Florida blue, but looking at how Florida shifts, I think there are a lot more partisan voters, a lot more Republicans who will always vote for Republicans than in Florida. I think that Bolton would hang on here, and I think that he would be slightly stronger in Texas than he is in Florida. But very close win there. And then Biden, almost a lean margin win for him in Arizona. However, Bolton is very much a moderate Republican. I think that a lot of Republicans in Arizona would like to vote for him much more than Donald Trump. But it still goes to Biden regardless. So Biden does win in basically a landslide victory. 350 electoral votes for Joe Biden, 188 for John Bolton. That's almost double the amount of electoral votes that Bolton gets. So, this final electoral, well, not final, but this is current electoral map. So thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it if you did. Thank you for all watching, and I will see you all next time.